Breaking news on ABC 17 News on KMIZ.
Breaking news, within the last few minutes, we have learned that convicted killer Brian Dorsey has been executed. Let's take a listen at the live press conference there tonight.
Impediments to the lawful execution of Brian Dorsey. At 6 p.m., Governor Parsons' office was asked whether there is any reason that the lawful execution of Brian Dorsey for the murders of Sarah Bonney and Ben Bonney should not proceed. The answer was to proceed. At 6:01 p.m., the order was given to proceed with the lawful execution. At 6:01 p.m., the lethal injection of pentobarbital was administered. At 6:03 p.m., the 5-minute timer was set. At 6:11 p.m., Brian Dorsey was pronounced dead. There's an area here on the grounds of Eastern Reception Diagnostic and Correctional Center for demonstrators. Today, there were 85 demonstrators opposed to this execution, and there were 24 demonstrators in support of it. Brian Dorsey provided a written statement, which I think you all have received. Brian Dorsey was 52 years old. He was born March 21st, 1972 in Jefferson City, Missouri. Dorsey was 34 years old at the time of the 2006 murders of Sarah Bonney and Ben Bonney in Callaway County. Dorsey was received in the Department of Corrections on July 10th, 2007. Today there were 6 witnesses for the offender in attendance. There are 12 witnesses for the victims in attendance, and there are 7 witnesses for the state, including 3 members of the news media. Brian Dorsey's final visit was with his spiritual advisor. It took place between 11:19 and 11:49 a.m. Brian Dorsey's final meal was at approximately 11 a.m. and consisted of 2 bacon double cheeseburgers, 2 orders of chicken strips, 2 large orders of fries, and a pizza with sausage, pepperoni, mushrooms, and I believe there's another ingredient, extra cheese. I'll take a few questions.
Karen, did the process of getting the needle into Mr. Dorsey's vein work as it typically does? Or
Yes, it did.
Cut down procedure?
No, it went smoothly, no problems.
What happens to the body's going to be buried, cremated? Is someone going to claim it?
It'll be cremated, and no one is planning to claim the body.
Will there be an autopsy?
An autopsy, no.
Any sort of, whether it be outbursts or emotional moments for anyone need to be escorted from their observation room or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge. I wasn't a witness, but there are other reporters in the room who were witnesses. They
Didn't see anything.
no.
Was he administered a sedative?
He was administered diazepam, which is optional. He had 3 doses of it, 5 milligrams each, at 1:34 p.m., 2:45 p.m., and 4:18 p.m.
The process, you said that getting the vein in was
The IV was,
typical. Yeah,
yes.
it was typical, but was the process itself typical? It seemed like it took a little longer than sometimes.
I don't think so. It was about 11 minutes from start to finish. So
Did it start right? What time did you say it started? 6:00?
it's 6. Sorry, the lethal injection was administered at 6:01. So about 10 minutes. Sometimes there's a little bit more time, and I know we've started including the spiritual advisors. So sometimes it takes a few minutes to get the spiritual advisor out of the room before the offender is pronounced dead. So that might. Yes, it was Matthew Friedrich.
Do you have to spell that?
Frierdich. I might be spelling it. I might be pronouncing it wrong, but it's.
F-R-I-E-R-D-I-C-H?
Yep. Yes.
F-R-I-E-R-D-I-C-H?
Right.
And
Friedrich.
who he's with?
I don't know. He's a reverend. I believe he's also an academic.
It doesn't look like it, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay.
Any chance of anyone of the victim's families planning to speak at all?
No, they don't plan to.
One more check. The number you said that were served as witnesses for the victims?
There were 12.
Thank you.
All family members except for one friend.
Also, 11 family members and one.
One friend, yes.
One friend. I don't know if it's possible, just as the one who, did not serve as a media witness, may I ask, as any of the media witnesses, I know Jim sometimes he'll take questions. May I just ask, like, as far as your observations go?
Yeah.
Check out the podium. Thank you, Jim, for your time.
Sure.
Can you just walk me through, like, or walk us through your observations, like what you saw?
Yeah, they don't open the curtains until the process is beginning, so we didn't observe what happened in terms of getting the vein into the body. The process went about like most of the executions here go. He took a couple of deep breaths. He took a couple of shallow breaths. At one point, he raised his head and seemed to blink hard. And then after a few seconds, all the movement stopped, and then eventually he was pronounced dead.
Okay. Any other, like, as far as facial expressions go, even, you don't need to
Yeah.
categorize them, but did he, like, move his mouth? Did it look like he said anything?
It's hard to say because a lot of the time the inmate has his head turned away from us because he's talking to a spiritual advisor who's on the other side of his gurney, or he's talking to relatives in the observation room that's opposite of us. So it's hard to say. Plus, it's soundproof, so we can't hear what they're saying. So I wouldn't want to characterize anything he was trying to say, or if it was an unusual movement, but nothing that really stood out. You guys?
I don't have anything to add.
Are there any other questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.